All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got my coach, Madison Southern coach, Coach Payne. Coach, how's things going down there?
It's going great. Going great. Thank you all for having me this morning. Hope everything's going well your way.
Yes, sir.
Now, Coach, man, a little rough year last year, 3-8 for a young team, first season, implementing new things and stuff. How did you kind of weather that storm last year, and what positives can you take away from that last year's season?
Uh, Definitely, it was a struggle, but at the same time, the competition we were playing was no slouch. Uh, we started off the season against Southwestern, who I think won a region championship. Uh, GRC 6A school was very competitive. Madison Central, rival right up the road. So those were three games to start the season that was pretty rough, and we were competitive with Southwestern and Madison Central. I think both those were one-score games. And really the biggest takeaway is just building some competitiveness in some of the younger guys last year. They're going to have to step up and play bigger roles for us this year.
Now, Coach, coming from Southwestern, perennial powerhouse 5A, this Madison Southern team was kind of a rebuilding project. Just what was it like coming in as far as culture and all of that? How was the transition for you?
I think the transition, it was a little tough at first just because at Southwestern, I think, during the COVID, a lot of things, we were able to still do some things. We were able to give kids workout plans and make sure that they were doing things at home and things like that. And here, I think the restrictions were a little bit more strenuous on the kids and what they were able to get done. I think Coach Clark wasn't able to do as much with the kids during that time. So you could tell in the weight room, especially, that they had been out of the weight room for a little bit. And it's taken a while to get our weight room program built back up. But I got two coaches that run our weight program, Jordan Castile and Coach Cody Harp, and they've done a phenomenal job to get our kids back to where we need to be just with our strength and conditioning. So I think that was the biggest struggle, is trying to get those kids back where they needed to be physically to be able to compete at the level we needed to compete at.
Now, Coach, this team really was pretty much a young team. I think about 9 to 10 seniors, but this is pretty much a young team. A lot of kids you depended on. How important is it going to be to have them kids to have another year of experience under their belt coming into this season?
It's going to be really important for us. We did lose around 10 starters for last year. But like you said, we played a lot of young guys last year. So it's still going to be a lot of sophomores. They're still going to be a little inexperienced and on the younger side. But getting the experience we got them in the last half of the season last year is hopefully going to pay big dividends, because we're going to start out the season with some good competition this year as well. So they're going to have to be ready for that.
Yeah, Coach. Let's just look at this schedule you got. I mean, Coach, Scott County, Taste Creek, Madison Central, Wayne County, Henry Clay, Mercer County, and you get into your district games: East Jasmine, Moco, West Jasmine, and then Whitley County. Coach, come on, Coach, man. You got to schedule some W's to start out the season, Coach.
I understand, but at the same time, I want to make sure our kids are challenged and they see the level of competition, because we have high goals. We have high expectations for our program. In order for our kids to get there, they got to see what that high level of football looks like. So Scott County, I think they're top 1 or 2 team in the state in 5A this year. Douglas is gone from 5A, so they were right there in the thick of it last year, and they bring the core of their team back this year. So it'll definitely be a tough one for us to open up, but it'll be a great game for our guys to compete in.
Now, Coach, like I say, you bringing back some great young talent. Of course, you used to quarterback back Ethan. Quarterback, he had almost 1,000 yards passing. On the defensive side, you bring a guy back, Preston Williams, who's only a sophomore, who led your team in tackles pretty much last year with a 98, 3 sacks, 12 tackles for a loss. How important it is to have them young men back and what they bring to the program?
Well, our quarterback, we do have a change at quarterback. We have a new guy running things at the quarterback. It's Ethan Moore. He was our leading receiver from last year, and the offense is taking a little bit different dynamic with him behind center. He's a guy that we think can pass for 1,000, 1,500 yards, but he has also opportunity to rush for 1,000. We're going to have a lot more read option type looks and find ways to get the ball in his hands more often than it was last year. And then as far as Preston, Preston is just an absolute monster on the field. He's a freak athlete. He's a great guy on the track as well. I mean, he has legitimate track speed, and he's 230 pounds. So he was a defensive guy last year. We're going to find ways to get the ball in his hands this year on offense. And then we still got a couple running backs coming back. Big Steve Whitehead, who is 240 pounds. He was the top-ranked wrestler in the state last year. Heavyweight. I think he went 50-1 wrestling. So, and we also bring back Lucas Mullins, who was injured for the majority of last season, who will play a big role for us at running back as well.
Now that's our next question, Coach. Who are you kind of leaning on this season as you get ready?
Yeah. So offensively, like I said, it's all going to start with Ethan Moore, quarterback, and the different things that he can do for us. Give us the ability to run RPOs and just make things difficult for the defense. And he's took that role on, and he's ran with it. I mean, he's only played football for, I think this is his fourth year. He didn't play football before high school. He's going into his fourth year of football, and he's never played the position before, but he's a very high football IQ. He's willing to, take new things on every single day, and he's really went with that. And then after him, like I said, a lot of things are going to go with some of those senior leadership guys. Stephen Whitehead and Lucas going to pack them out. We got a young guy, Braden Kelly, who I don't know how much you pay attention last year, but we had guys like Cade Sullivan, Jay Sean Etheridge, who are just superb athletes, and we were able to use them in a lot of different ways. And Braden Kelly's one of those guys that we're really excited about because he's going to fill one of those roles where he can go out in the slot, line up in the backfield, and do a lot of different things for us. And then really we got a guy named Gino Ballard who's stepped up tremendously this offseason. He's taken on a leadership role. He's going to be one of our guys that kind of controls our secondary, make sure everybody's in position. We're also excited to see what he can do on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, my guy Gino, we coached him when he was a young man here in Lexington. Yeah. Gino, good kid, great family. Love Gino.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Now, as you get ready to go into this season, you got a tough schedule, you got a young team, but a built-up team. What's your main concern as you get ready for the 2023 season?
Really just the youth. They got some experience last year, but really they're going to have to kind of shoulder more of the responsibilities this year. Last year they were able to get experience, but they didn't really have to shoulder everything. They had some of those seniors and juniors that were kind of taking control of things. They're going to have to. Those younger guys are going to have to be more vocal this year. They're going to have to step up into roles where they're counted on a little bit more than they were last year. So that's really the biggest concern, is just trying to make sure that they find their voice, and these first few games get the more game experience that they need. That way, by the time we get to district play, they're ready to go.
All right, Coach. Well, Coach, man, we welcome you into Big Things County. Looking for bigger things out of year 2 from the Madison Southern Eagles. We appreciate you for coming on, Coach. Keep doing big things.
Thank you.